Hello, hello. How are you guys? I am so excited about our video tonight. Let me make sure we got everything straight here. Let's make sure. All right. So as you guys are hopping on, please share this video. I am going to wait on my special guest to hop on as well with me, and hopefully we can get this camera situated so you aren't looking at me sideways. Hi guys, thanks for hopping on. I am so excited about our video tonight. I know you guys are going to love this topic. And we may be just a little sideways. I tell you what. So, all right. So you probably, hi Beth. Hi guys. Thanks for hopping on. When you are hopping on, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you've had the opportunity to catch video 1 or 2. So tonight we're getting into some geeky stuff. We warned you guys on the video 1 and 2 that this was happening. And so grab your notepads. We are going to get into some science a little bit. Promise you we're not going to take it too deep. And Amber, if you are on, send me a request because I am struggling with my device here, trying to get myself straight. So if you guys have not checked out the very first 2 videos, I will challenge you to go and do that. They were the very first video topic. I think that will work. If that will work, okay. The very first topic, you guys, that we were talking about was the difference between CBD and the difference between THC. All right. So that was last Thursday night live on my page. I think it's over like 4,000 views at this point. So obviously the information has been so helpful to so many of you. Thank you all for all the feedback. All right. I see you, Miss Amber. Let's see here. It's not letting me invite you on. So see if you can bring yourself on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Adding you. All right, and then the second video, we dove into a little bit more about the CBD facts and sort of just some things that we have learned. So if you guys have not met us yet, my name is Kelly Hoover. This is Amber Rice. Hi, how are you this evening?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing good. All right. I hear no echoing. So we are ready to rock and roll. So you guys, tonight is our part 3 of our 4-part series. And this is where we're diving in to a little bit more of the science. Okay. And so we promise we're not going to go too deep. We're going to keep it as high level as we can, but we also want to understand what we both found so intriguing about learning about CBD and just how the cannabis plant works and the just the overall body. So the first video we did, just to recap, was THC. What's the difference between THC and CBD? And that was last Thursday. So if you haven't seen that, catch it. It's a great video just about some basics, right? And so Saturday morning, we did a video diving in a little bit more about CBD. So what's our video
I
about
can't
tonight,
wait.
Amber?
I've
You
been
want to
looking
shout out our
forward to
topic?
this one the whole time because I know for me this is probably the most interesting part of it. We're really going to dive into the endocannabinoid system, what it is, why our bodies use it so much for our health, right? So it's something I can't wait to jump into. It's
Yes.
going to be awesome.
Yes. All right. So let's get started, you guys. If you find this interesting or think that other people will, click the share button. This video is not relation to any company. There are no products that we are promoting. This is simple, just some geeky knowledge. We are educating ourselves about CBD and what the endocannabinoid system does. And so we are wanting to share that information because it is something that a lot of people are really curious about. So no affiliation to a company on this video or any products, just simple, pure science knowledge. So share away. All right, so first to kick it off, to understand the endocannabinoid system, and I know that's a mouthful, and trust me, we'll probably get tongue-tied saying it, but you have to sort of know about the human body, right? And about the system. So when people are in school, specifically medical school, they're learning about different systems in the body, right? And you've probably learned about this in your biology class, maybe back in high school or in college, but you learn about 11 different major systems in the body, right? Organ systems. And so some of those are, I'm just going to shout some of them out so you'll sort of start thinking about where the endocannabinoid system fits. Okay. So you've got the circulatory system, you've got the digestive system, the endocrine system that's dealing with hormones. You've got respiratory, you've got the renal system that's obviously affecting the kidneys, reproductive system, the exocrine system, the skeleton, muscular, nervous, and immune system. Okay, so you've got 11 different systems. Now, we're not going to dive into what those are, but just know that they are there, right? And so what is really different about the endocannabinoid system is that it's a signaling system for all of your body, right? Amber's going to talk in a minute just about sort of where the history behind this started. Thank you so much for having a watch party. But here's the thing, what you need to know: the endocannabinoid system, often sometimes referred to as ECS for short, it really provides the entire balance, okay, for the entire body, but at a cellular level. And what is very interesting about this is it actually does not, there's no organs involved in this system. It really provides the homeostasis for all of the entire systems in the body. So your body actually makes its own cannabinoids, which is super cool. It's part of what your body is just naturally producing all the time. It's helping keep your body healthy. We'll dive into some deficiencies on that and what that looks like. But here's the thing, your body knows what it needs to make, and it's constantly making these cannabinoids. But your body also allows you to receive cannabinoids, which would be through a CBD product. So, Amber, share with us a little bit about the background. Where did
Right.
where did we even discover
The
this
interesting
system?
thing that I found in looking into the research and where it kind of started and where it came from is all of this started happening within the past 20 years. So the research around this is pretty new. I mean, in relation to knowing about the circulatory system or the muscular system. It was actually first started in 1988 when researchers were looking at cannabinoids and their function in rats. They found the receptor in a rat first, and that it was concentrated at parts of the brain that were responsible for mental and physiological processes like memory, cognition, and motor coordination. So that's all they knew in the beginning. They knew that there was this one receptor. Fast forward 5 years to 1993, they discovered a second receptor. And it was found to be kind of distributed throughout the entire immune system and peripheral tissues in the body. So at that point, when they realized that, okay, we have two of these different receptors, there's got to be something behind this, that's when they kind of knew that they were on to probably something pretty significant. 2 years after that, in 1995, they realized that these receptors were not just present and active and important in rats, but all mammals, including humans. So that's where the research really went into, a higher gear, to look at what is this doing in the human body? Technology at that point, early 2000, was really ramping up and developing, and a lot of new things were able to be analyzed. And that's when they looked at the relationship between these cannabinoid receptors within our body and the cannabinoid receptors in plants, like cannabis, and the compounds, specifically THC and CBD. So they named the system, like you said, the endocannabinoid system, ECS. It's a little bit easier to say than that mouthful. And what they found through that breakthrough is that our bodies were actually designed to interact with these cannabinoids. So now, I mean, all research is really indicating and looking at how important the endocannabinoid system is. And it's thought that it's probably the most important physiological system in our entire body to promote our health and maintain our well-being. So, I mean, that is incredible research, exciting research to know that, there's something plant-based, natural that we can supplement our bodies with to promote, health and well-being. So if you want to dig in more to,
Yeah.
the receptors themselves and the cannabinoids, take it away.
Yes, yes. So it is very interesting, you guys. And we're going to give some like examples, some visual examples, because honestly, like I am a visual learner. And so I think sometimes it helps explain when you have these sort of things. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to show you guys an example. But since Amber and I's background is in pharmaceuticals, and that's really where we have spent the majority of our careers is learning and studying different disease states and medications on how to treat the disease state. But not only did we have to learn disease specific medications, we had to learn how the body is supposed to operate and why it actually has whatever that disease is, whether it's diabetes or hypertension or depression or whatever it is. And then all the competitors that go along with it. So when I saw this example that I'm going to give you guys, it just sort of hit the nail on the head about where you and I came from a professional standpoint and to where we are now. So hopefully you guys can sort of see this. I know you can see sort of lights in it, but
that's good.
You can see. Okay, is that good? All right. So this is like a mobile, you guys. And what is so cool about this is that you see the actual green at the top, and then you see all of these different mobiles with the stars. Okay. And so if you actually look like where the stars were, okay, so that entire mobile, imagine that as one of your systems. Okay, let's just say your skeletal system. Okay, that is what that mobile is. And within that, let's just say that you have something that goes wrong, okay, which would be where that red star is. Okay, so maybe you have a symptom. Let's just say that it's, maybe it's hypertension, or it's type 2 diabetes, or it's a broken foot, whatever it is. You take that red star, and most of the times you are given medication to treat whatever is sort of off whack that's causing that symptom to go off whack, right? And so you're treating that star. Let's see if I can point this out. You're treating that star, but then with that medication, you're treating that. But then what usually happens with medicine, a lot of times with medication, when you're treating something, you may get some side effects, right? And those side effects may then begin to affect the other yellow stars throughout the body. Now, these things, you have these mobiles all over. If you think about it that way, you have these mobiles all over your body and thousands of different systems, right? So it's not just like one system. Remember, there's 11 systems. They're all over. So you go to attack that one star that may be the hypertension, and then it causes that homeostasis to go out of whack, right? So the thought is, okay, this is just what the thought is. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of research going on with this, but the thought is that the endocannabinoid would really focus on this area, okay? It would really focus on that top part of the mobile, therefore impacting the entire, instead of impacting that one star, it impacts the entire system. So if you're hitting it at the top, at that cellular level of your body, then so many other things, you're not getting off whack. It's a cascade of good benefits. And I know you had another example before we dive in specifically to the receptors.
Just talking specifically about homeostasis. If you don't know that terminology, it's really, in basic terms, it's the concept of everything in the biological system being regulated and in balance, right? So your body wants to stay in balance. And I'm going to ask you to think of the childhood story we all know, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And Goldilocks was always on a mission to find the perfect situation, right? She looked for the porridge. She didn't want it too hot or too cold. She wanted it just right. Her bed, she didn't want it too soft or too hard. She wanted it just right. And that's exactly what our bodies tries to do all the time, to keep everything in balance. When everything's in balance, we have no symptoms, we're healthy, we feel good, our bodies are working right and correctly. So, our bodies are Goldilocks. Think about, your temperature. Your body isn't happy when your temperature is too cold or too hot, or your blood sugar is too high or too low. So bringing it to a pretty tight normal range for specific things like that, whether you're talking about cholesterol or blood sugar level or temperature. That's our body's job, is to constantly find this place of balance where everything is working and communicating together, right? And that's exactly what the endocannabinoid system does, is it sends these signals to the different systems of our bodies to say, okay, we got something going on here in the circulatory system. Let me let the muscular system know this. So it's sending out all these signals all the time to make sure that that balance is always there. Does that make sense? Did I explain that okay? It made sense in my head.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, it does. And hopefully, if you guys aren't familiar with the term, I mean, look it up and Google it and watch some things about it, because it really does makes sense once you understand homeostasis and sort of how all these
Same thing.
systems are interacting with each other. And that this
Absolutely.
is still new,
Same thing with a
right?
machine. If you have any sort of machine that works together, they're going to communicate with each other to work at the best rate, the best speed, the best outcome. Body's the same way. Your immune system is responsible for filtration. Your brain is like the motherboard. So those endocannabinoids are kind of everywhere, like that mobile that Kelly just showed us, to help each system talk to each other so that you keep that balance. And like with any machine, just like our bodies, things can start to go wrong, whether that's poor maintenance or damage or just the aging process, the machine's getting old, things start to break down. So when you can control some of these things, even from a plant-based perspective, is even better. All natural plant-based type supplement, even better. It's going to allow those machines to do their individual jobs, but to left hand knows what the right hand's doing, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so you guys diving into, and I'm going to do my best because I got a ton of notes here. So it's super interesting about the receptors, but I'm going to try to keep it like as not diving in it too much, because you can get way down in the weeds, as we like to say, and like go down and you're like, whoa, where am I right now? Learning about different receptors and how they connect with things. But here's what you need to know about the endocannabinoid system is that to date, okay, you have to take, like, there is new things being discovered all the time. Like, this is real life things that are being discovered in our lifetime, which is super cool, right? So you have to know that things are always emerging, right? And a lot of these things have been done clinically in animals, and not as much as in humans, but as products come out, as things are being discovered, more and more information. So as now, experts are really saying that there are two types of receptors in the that the cannabinoids are actually attaching to. So here's the thing: we've talked a little bit about these, but the CB1, which is known as cannabinoid receptor type 1, or CB2 type 2. Okay, so they're known as CB1, CB2 if you're doing any research. But here's the thing: you have to realize that this is actually as like a lock and key. So it's sort of like this is coming in and it's coming into that receptor, and when it fits perfect, right, then it's going to unlock it. Okay, but if it doesn't fit, it's not going to be able to receive it. Okay, so even though the CB1 and CB2 are similar names, right? They're very similar, except for there's one thing: they are very, very different as far as their functions go. So just really quickly about the CB1, there's some great functions, but there's also some not so great functions about it. And so I just sort of want people to be aware of what could be happening in your body when this CB1 receptor, most of these are in your brain. CB1 receptors are in your brain. So we talked about on the first video about the HTP receptors being impacted, and that is sort of like that runner's high. This is going back to sort of that. So they're mainly in your brain, okay, and your central nervous system, also in your intestines, and just other various glands in your body. That's where you'll mainly find them. So benefits from having a CB1 receptor include relieving depression, lowering your intestinal inflammation, like just inflammation in the gastro tract, lowering blood pressure, lowering anxiety, reducing fear and paranoia. All really great things, right? I mean, we would love to have all of those things happen, but even though there's a lot of great things, there's also some side effects that could potentially happen. And we haven't talked a lot about that. So we want to just sort of bring that to people's attention, that there's a lot of really great things, but there's also some other things that could not be great. Lowering your thyroid hormones, reducing the ability to your circadian rhythm. So your sort of time tracker of your natural body. And then decreasing your cognitive function. Hey, nobody needs that, right? Nobody wants to decrease that. Constipation, increase your liver fat, and increase food intake. So just know that CB1, those are some of the things that could be impacted by that receptor. So if you look at CB2, the next receptor, this was actually discovered in 1993. So again, you guys, we're talking like our lifetime science here. And this mostly occurs commonly in the spleen, tonsils, immune system, and a very, very small in the actual brain. So the thing to know about CB2, there's not like a laundry list of extreme great benefits or extreme, not great qualities to have. But just know that it overall sort of impacts the cardiovascular system, the gastrointestinal system, the psychiatric system, autoimmune. It definitely plays a role in the liver and the kidney function, also with cancer and even pain-related illnesses. So just sort of knowing that there are these two receptors, who knows? They may discover more, but just knowing that those are out there, and that's sort of like that lock and key, that if that is locked in, it could be something really great for your health, but there also could be some side effects to it as well.
I think what's exciting, Kelly, is that, like we've both said, the research is still out there. I mean, it's still ongoing. All of this is newer information that it's getting updated and researched, all the time. So the fact that they are really, from a medical standpoint, we are seeing drugs, like we mentioned in our last live, drugs that are, have the main molecule of cannabidiol, which is the CBD molecule, goes to show that there's a lot of validity to the benefits of what this does in the system and how important it is to maintain the integrity of. It's just like anything else. As we age, our hearts get weaker. Our immunity gets weaker. Things age and they deteriorate. And to know that the ECS that we've just spoken about is such a big part of maintaining overall health, it's important to take care of. And a lot of that can be done proactively. We don't have to let it break and try to fix it later. This is something we can really, implement from a proactive standpoint to preserve our health. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that there are so many people out there trying to live a healthier life. You don't have to be sick to start living healthier. You don't have to be reactive. You can really truly live a life and being proactive, so you can potentially prevent things down the way. So I loved this. I know there's so many more things that we could dive into, but you guys let us know if there are more questions that you have. If you're like, hey, we want to know more about the system, and we want to know overall about the body, we have one more video that we're going to be doing on Wednesday night, and that will conclude our 4-part series about CBD and what it is and diving into it. So thanks everybody for tuning in.
Nope, I've got to move on to the next one. I'm supposed to log in probably 30 seconds. So this worked out great. We had good timing.
Yes. Okay. All right. Good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for sharing.